everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is my version of a makeup do's and don'ts. So this is basically what I've learned. This side is what I do now. This side is what I used to do. Really bold, really not blended, really all over the place. And so this is my video to show you what I have learned. Obviously if you like your makeup like this, then that's cool because makeup is very personal. But this is what I've learned on how to apply things in a nicer way, in my personal opinion. So if you want to see how my eyeshadow do's and don'ts, my skin do's and don'ts, everything that I've got one half that's don't and one half that is do, I guess. Yeah, if you want to see that video, then please keep watching. So today I'm going to show you my eyeshadow do's and don'ts. So on one eye I'm going to do eyeshadow kind of how I used to do it before I learned more tips, and this is why I thought this was a good video. Not only to show you the do's and don'ts of eyeshadow, but to show you what I've learned, because it wasn't that long ago that I used to do this kind of version of eyeshadow. And yeah, so on one eye I'm going to do the bad eyeshadow, and then I'm going to show you what you do to make it look better, and because the way you do it takes a lot longer, but it looks a lot better. So hi guys, so I thought I'd actually change my mind and do a voiceover. It's just easier to explain. So I'm going in with the Kylie bronze palette because it's a really good palette. It's got a lot of shades and perfect to show you the good and the bad. So basically if you're wanting a look that's dark shadow like the browns and the blacks, you can go in with a transition. So some people even do this, which I used to do as well, but it just didn't come out right. So I've done my face, but I haven't put anything on my eyelid. There may even be foundation on my eyelids, you know, I haven't changed them at all since I did foundation. So I've just gone straight in with that orangey colour, like gingery shade, and I'm just putting that as the transition, which actually it doesn't look too bad, but the thing you'll notice is it's just not massively neat. It's quite patchy, and you will notice it's just really hard to blend. It's not blending quickly. You really have to work at it. You want to have it darker like I've just done, but the colour is just not blending properly and it's quite patchy. So the next thing that a lot of people do is you're going for a bold dark smoky eye. You don't even prep the lid, you don't even do anything, you just go straight in with that brown colour, and you're putting over lid and it will do exactly the same as that orange did, but because it's a darker colour it will look 10 times worse. So you've put that brown and you think, oh, it's not even, and so you go in with the black, and this just makes it 10 times worse because black can look very, very dirty. So I've basically done two versions of what people do. This is one which actually doesn't look too bad, it just looks a bit messy. The second one, which is a clip now, people just don't do the transition at all, and this is a really, really big key. Like, a lot of people ask me how I get it neat, and honestly it's building up to that. Now that's exactly what I'm going to show you how to do. So instead of just going straight out with a black colour, I'm going to go in and start with a base and everything, because base and transition is key. So this is kind of the bad version, or how it will look messy and won't blend, and now we'll go into the way that I do it. Not at all like probably the picture you are following. So right now I'm going to show you what to do on this side, so especially if you don't use a transition colour, this is the go-to eye. So without anything, first of all what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with some concealer. This is kind of what I'm using at the moment as a almost like a primer. So if you're not using a primer, you can use a concealer like this, and you just want to take it across underneath the eye and down, and then get a brush or a beauty blender, and not only does this make your eyebrow really, really clean cut and precise, but it preps that eyelid perfectly. So I'm still just gonna pull that out a little bit, and you kind of, especially with this concealer, you kind of feel it set underneath that brush. So after I've done that, I'm just going to take this beauty blender that's got probably a bit of setting powder on it and just push that in. So already it's looking a lot cleaner up here, isn't it, to the other one. So once we've done that, we're gonna, instead of, say you're wanting to go for this kind of smoky eye, don't touch this first. We're going, first of all, we're going in with this colour. So this is like a step by step. You know, you don't want to, if you want to go for a darker colour, don't just go straight here. We can build up to it. That's why a palette like this is perfect. So we're going, I'm using just a really big fluffy brush, and I'm going into this colour, and I'm literally just taking it all over the eyelid. First of all, eyeshadow is so much easier to blend if you've got a base and eyeshadow, because the eyeshadow will make it soft and like a powdery base, and that is so much easier. Obviously I have watched a lot of tutorials, but also this is just what I find works so well for me. The brush, I've used a big fluffy brush, and now I'm going into this, which is a more kind of big, well, a slightly smaller fluffy brush. And so we're aiming to go for these colours, but we're going into this colour first. So already we're using a colour that's, you know, really far off that, but we're building it. So this is called the transition. So you want to build a transition, and some people do that, but you want to go lighter, as light as you can. So obviously at the moment I'm literally just starting to blend that in into, and kind of light movements. You don't want to go too dark or too heavy. You want to go quite lightly. So the next up, this is the colour that I used on the other eye first. Do you remember I used that as a transition? But we're taking this brush and we're literally going to lightly touch it. Just put my finger in that black. Lightly touch it, tap off the excess, and start to work that in. So already really, really gently working that in, kind of window wiper movements. And you can, with the excess, you can kind of bring this up slightly as you're creating that transition. Now for me, with a eye like this, you could go into more of an orange. So like this palette is perfect because you could use that, you could use that, or you can use that as a transition. I'm going to touch a little bit of this orange, like I say, like the tiniest, tap off the excess and start working that in, blended so nicely. And then we can move on to the slightly darker colours. So what I'm going to do, flat brush, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go firstly into this tone. So this is actually the colour that we used for the transition, and I'm just going to run that across the lid. And a lot of people, they think of a smoky eye and they think of black. You literally don't have to use black. I'm kind of hardly going to be using black in this tutorial. But it's kind of the tips of how to create a smoky eye. So now I've created that onto the lid, I'm kind of going to drag it up slightly, just using this little flat brush just because it's more precise. So now we've got that base on, I'm going to move on to this colour, which is obviously a lot darker. And I'm literally just going to take this brush, I've just touched it on there, and I'm going to really gently start to put that onto the lid, onto my lid, and then I'm taking this brush and kind of circling just that little creasy bit. Works really well for the crease of your eye. So now we've done that, you can kind of see that colour. I'm going back into this orange and I'm going to lightly tap that with a little bit of the brown, and I'm going to take that in here. Now, if you want to use black, you can, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in with this brush, take a little bit of the black, like the tiniest bit, and just run it across where almost your lashes are. Blend a little bit of that out. I'm then going to take transit that kind of crease, and I'm using this brush and I'm taking the orange and I'm going to go under here, join it out to that outer area. Kind of blend that area out into more of a kind of triangle shape. The area I'm going to use a little bit of that dark brown, so this colour, and I'm going to go across almost that outer lash line. So just really gently going across, not making it too bold. And for the finishing part, what you want to do with the eyeshadow is you can take your concealer. So I'm going to take, let me wipe this a little bit, you can take this bit under here. So this is a really good tip of when you're doing your your contour. and concealer, you can take a brush. This is the same brush that I used across the eyelid and the same concealer, and I'm just going to take this, work it across my face. As I'm going under the eye, I can clean up that eyeshadow. Take that down the rest of my face. Smoky under here. I think that is probably the kind of the best version of the smoky eye. Then once you've left that setting powder on for a little bit, you want to just brush it off. Depends how crisp you want that line. If you don't want it, you know, kind of that crisp, you can go in with, if I can find it, where I put it, that little transition brush that I used, the little fluffy brush, and you can just really lightly buff over that line. Okay, so now we've done that eyeshadow. Obviously this is a lot more of a subtle eye. This kind of looks a bit gothic. If you like your eyeshadow this way, absolutely fine, but this is like my tips on how to get a good smoky eye, because some people go over the top. So the next thing is liquid eyeliner. Do a really thin line, not only because with a smoky eye you don't want to take too much of a dark line, but if you go too thick with the liquid eyeliner, it will make your eye look more hooded, more closed. So you want to do a really thin liquid eyeliner. I'll show you what I mean on my eyes. So let's go for this one. Line. So let's go, what I normally do, go in here. Some people look really good with this kind of wing. As you can see, kind of got rid of that whole lid. You can only see a tiny bit of that lid, and when you put the lashes on, your eye is going to look so closed. And if you have more of a hooded eye than me, this eye is actually more hooded, but it will take away all of that eyeshadow colour. So you want to do as thin as possible. So on this eye, I'm going to go really thin, not really far over the lashes, outwards. Again, I'm not going too thick. So just doing the thin line makes you have a lot of more of a lid. So with the lashes, I am using these little lashes. With the glue, let me show you. I'm going to put glue on one lash, leave it. Putting glue on and trying to put your lash on straight away, and leaving it. So I'm literally just applying this glue right now. Just choking. I guess most people give it a quick flick and then they go and straight and apply it. Now first of all, you're trying to apply it, glue goes everywhere, but you blink and it starts to come up. So you try and put it on again, try and put it in place, and every time you move your eye it's just sliding up and then it's not going to set. And then people keep touching it. You keep moving it. Not only this, but you've used a much too bigger of a lash, if that makes any sense. So still, that's not even set. The end, that corner is, but it's just sliding around. So I'm just going to leave that, and you're starting to get a gap here because it's moving up. But obviously at this point, you're getting frustrated and you don't want to wear lashes anymore. Glue on for a couple of minutes, so they're a lot thinner. And I'm literally just going to apply these. So I've just applied that small lash. I'm just putting it on into the corner and then into the inner corner. As you can see, it's stuck so well, but also it hasn't taken away of that colour. You can still see it straight through it, and it hasn't taken away from the eyeshadow at all, but which already just makes everything look thick. Because with this way, it's adding thickness. You don't want to add thickness under here. You want to add the, you don't want to add the length, sorry. So this is adding length, going downwards like this. Adding length. Not only that, but you're kind of hitting the skin. So that's kind of why you get that dirty line, whereas I always use it this way. So you're going across the eyelashes and just catching the bottom lash, because all the time, most of the time, your bottom lashes are actually a lot longer than your top, so you don't need to add a lot of mascara. You just want to add it to kind of finish that look. Yes, I'm not basing this on anyone apart from myself, what I've learned, what I used to do. This is what I used to do and what I now do, what I learned, my tips, and I wanted to share them all with you. So if you like this video, then give me a thumbs up. Thank you so much to my shout out of the week, which is my post notification turn on shout out. Post notification shout out goes to Jodie. Thank you so much for watching my videos and all your support. If you want a post notification shout out, then just subscribe, turn the bell on, and tell me when you're done, and you could be the next video's shout out. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you like this and want more tips like this, then please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.